Welcome to Center Heist Productions. And today is April 18th. And we have a different episode. So, first, please hit the likes and subscribe. We're doing some off season shows here for what's coming for the Habs. And basically, this is going to be about our goaltending situation. Kind of the changing of the guard. So, really, what did we see this year? We have the tandem of Samuel Montembeault versus Jake Allen. Well, we definitely seen something that I found was very, very surprising. I always thought Montembeault half decent backup. I think he proved us all wrong this season. There's been a changing of the guard, and maybe due to the fact that Jake Allen is older and running into, it seems to be, a groin injury that just keeps reoccurring and dragged him down about. So, with that being said, I think we all can realize from this was a positive season for the goaltenders. However, there are different topics in this whole show on the goaltending situation. Is Sam Montembeault the future starting goaltender? No, I don't believe he is. However, will he be with Jake Allen in a tandem? Yes. Although I think it's been time that they have switched roles. Montembeault has clearly taken steps this year, which shocked me drastically. Nice to see. Congratulations to Montembeault. And Jake Allen's a class act. He's such a veteran that he'll always be a good teammate. So a lot to learn from there, which is a bonus for Montembeault. But this leads us to the status of what is the situation in Habland. Well, we got a serious problem because we're building a great team. That's great. But we know once we're ready to win, Montembeault is not going to be the starter. What do we do as Habs? Okay, there's several solutions out there. There's several rumors out there. Now, the latest rumors I have heard, and I think we've all heard, and there's been, from what we understand in Rumorville, there has been rumors that the Habs were looking at Devin Levi from the Buffalo Sabres. And of course, Dustin Wolf from the Calgary Flames. My problem with this whole situation, do we really want to go down the road of a seventh round pick? Both of these kids, from what I understand, are seventh round goaltenders. This leaves you into a situation of Caden Primo. So, with that being said, is that the solution for when the Habs want to go ahead and start a winning franchise and taking shots at the cup? I'm not convinced. As we know, Caden's not going to be the future goaltender. He might be, at best, AHL goaltender and be one of the turn into a veteran goalie down there. That seems to be Caden's place professional-wise. With that being said, do we make a trade? And it seems like the price is awfully high because I think the league knows that goaltenders are in short supply. And this is why the price has gone up. From some of the rumors I was hearing early in the year for Devin Levi, the cost was far too much. For a seventh round pick, no. And I do think this Levi kid may be better than Primo. He's kind of looking like he possibly could be. As far as Wolf, I don't know as much on him, but I don't hear anything jumping out, any big talk on him. So it doesn't sound like he's got the stats that Levi has. So, but, there's always a good chance because we do a lot of deals with Calgary, and I wouldn't be shocked to see us do something with Buffalo. So it leaves us the option. However, is that the route we really want to go? I venture to say not. That's my view. And, you can agree, disagree. It's your choice. We're all Habs fans. But I think his history has shown us very seldom do you come across a gem that far in goaltending in the draft. So for me, if I was the Habs, I would really work hard on, I'm expecting the Habs to make a big splash like they did in the Doc trade. I really am expecting a big splash in this year's draft from the Habs. They're up to something, I believe. So to me, is that for the next goaltender, so they can position themselves in a good position? Because what we're hearing, I've got the names. I only took the names of the three top goaltenders, and one was Michael Hoberl from the USHL, and I could be pronouncing that wrong. Forgive me, but he's 6'6", and he's the top goaltending prospect in this year's draft. Now, it almost looks like the gold. I know earlier in the year they had made the first round, two of the goaltenders, and it looks like they slipped out of the first round. However, that being said, that's your top goaltender. Then you've got Carson Bajarson from Brandon Wheat Kings, I believe, in the WHL. And in his situation, it's a case of, we know that in Herbert's situation with the USHL, they always come across, and a lot of these guys look good. They got a shorter season and don't face the schedule that the juniors over here face. And so for Carson, they say he looked very good, except he was on a weak team. So you had to take that into consideration. I tend to think sometimes that's a blessing, because a goaltender that tends to face a lot of action, he's getting to work on his craft much sooner. He's got the pressure already. So they've taken that into consideration. He's the second choice in the draft, and I have no problem weighing to that. I do like the first fellow, Herberl, for the fact he's 6'6". He's big. They do have a little bit of knock that sometimes he goes down too early. But Jarvison, like I said, they really his knock is just that he played for a weak team, and facing that many shots, I think that might be a stronger attribute for him, because it tends to help goaltenders. The more you face, the better you become, because you're getting your skill set a lot faster. Then there's Adam Gagnon from Green Bay in the USHL. And they think this kid. This I only mentioned him because the other two are kind of ahead, but they mentioned this kid as being the diamond in the rough. And we've seen, when we look at Tuukka Rask, I mean, there was a diamond in the rough. Those situations don't come along very often, so it's something to look at. For me, do we go into the draft? I think we do. I think no matter how you look at it, unless you're going to make one big splash of a goal, there's not a lot of goaltenders top level that I think teams are going to get rid of, because there's the league is short supply. And if they got someone like a Sturkin, he's not going anywhere. Shirokin from the Islanders, he's not going anywhere. Hellebuck from the Jets, he's not going anywhere. These type of goaltenders are staying put. Vasilevsky, he's not going anywhere. So, there's even top teams still looking for goaltenders. But if I'm the Habs, where you're this early in basically your rebuild, and now we're going to start wanting to see a little bit of a better record once again, a step up. And it takes 5 years, good 3 to 5 years, and I'd say 5 years more so, to have a goaltender develop properly. For me, I would be in favor of the first two. So go out and make that splash, and make sure you get one of the two. I tend to lean towards the bigger fellow. Although, again, the second kid that's in the WHL, remember, just because he's on a weak team and his numbers weren't as good, it's because he was on a weak team. That tends to benefit goaltenders a lot. So you can't rule him out. So for me, if I'm the Montreal Canadiens, I look to the draft. Go out and get yourself a goaltender. Don't go out and look for somebody who's in the league already. And you know what? Who do you look at? You might look at Georgiev, who's already one of the goaltenders you could see possibly developing into a better goaltender. I don't think he's going to be Vasilevsky or Shesterkin or Shirokin's level. But overall, I don't think we should make the mistake of going with, unless you're going towards Georgiev, that would be one of the few guys. Or do you give Samsonov a look if he becomes available? Because Samsonov, unfortunately, he was hurt in the early stages of Washington. It seemed like Alex Ovechkin did damage to him with his screaming at him, and just he hasn't reached the level that was projected for him. So for Samsonov, do you take do you, if he becomes available, do you take a shot at one of those two? Because those are pretty much the only two that you would right now in the new group of goaltenders. I mean, it's a shame that Knight from Florida, he just doesn't look the same. And I think it may be due to more injuries. For his case, he was looking like one of the future goaltenders that was going to be something. Not so much anymore. So I think that's why it's critical we, as the Habs, go out there, draft one of these two kids. And I would lean, I know there's a third guy in there, that they think that the scouts are saying is a diamond in the rough. That's great, but I'm a little more go with the sure thing. So I think I would go with one of the first two, and I think you'd be doing all right with that. Let's keep it in mind. Anybody who thinks Caden Primo is going to be NHL material, I think at best you'd be lucky, and that's quite a stretch as a backup in the NHL. I don't. I think he's a professional AHL goaltender. That's my stand on it. I don't think he's a guy, and that's why I lean away. And I know the Habs or the rumors. Let's get that clear, because we haven't really heard straight out from Habs management that they were actually looking at these two goaltenders. The Dustin Wolf from Calgary and Devin Levi from Buffalo. So until you hear it out of the horse's mouth, you got to watch all these rumors. There's a lot of journalists in sports that tend to want to make a story, and they got to reach for a story. So those are the stories they're reaching for. But I think either way, we got a positive future happening. But I don't think we should wait, because you're putting it off and you're playing with fire, or you're going to end up in a situation that you have to rob the bank you know, uh, in your own organization to buy one of the guys that's already at it, and you're going to pay a steep price. So for me, I think I would take my shot, go for one of these two young goaltenders. Don't waste your first two. We got our two draft picks. I understand we should utilize those for other positions, and really we should. There's too many good players in there, but you may need to make a similar move that you did with Doc. And I really have a funny suspicion that's what the Habs are up to. That's just my thought. I could be wrong, no doubt about it. But anyway, that was what we wanted to talk about, and I wanted to tip my hat off because Sam Montembeault shocked us all. There are several players, that we're going to make an episode on, the players that stepped up for the Habs this year and really shocked us and took a move forward, and we didn't expect it. Sam Montembeault is one of those guys, and he definitely, for him to pass Jake Allen. Jake Allen was a good, steady veteran. I think it helped Monty that to have Jake's character and learn from him, and him being such a team guy. But it also helped that Jake started running into work overload, and I do think the Habs used him a little too much. I was a little shocked that even the first half of the season he was used so much more than Monty. I thought they should have had at that point an even schedule. And that's you overwork these veterans, and you're going to have an injury, and that's exactly what happened to him. So I think it is time for Monty's well earned it. Give him the lead role going into next year. That should be your tandem, because you don't want to go out there and make any drastic move right now while we're still not in the position to reap the rewards of our drafting. We still got a year or two that we possibly could be on the borderline. All you got to do is look at Detroit, Buffalo. Buffalo's probably going to make it next year, and I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit's right behind them. In New Jersey, New Jersey's already in the playoffs. So Detroit after Buffalo, and then you got Ottawa, and they're not far off either. But I think we're going to be a little bit behind those three teams. So to me, being realistic, I still think we got a year or two, and I think more like two before we become contenders. Now, mind you, there's going to be teams dropping down. Like Boston has done wonderful this year, but that age is going to catch them. Tampa, that age is going to catch them. Florida, they got big problems because they're older, mixed unit, but they should have actually they traded off too much of their top prospects, and are paying for it. They're going to have to. I always think start beginning next year on. They might want to relook their system because they need to start drafting and change the direction. They were so close, and then it just seems like the wheels came off. That being said, there's great positivity. Like great on Sam Monbo, and he's going to the Worlds and has been chosen for that. That's going to be a great experience, and I think it's going to be a boost for his confidence as well. So look out, what could we see from Monty this year? I'm now looking at him, and I will mention the other players on the Habs that also did the same type of thing as Monty and shocked us. So with that being said, hats off to Monty, buddy. Congratulations, you deserved it, and we look forward to seeing more. I've been very pleased with what I've seen. We still got to work on the soft goals that go on in on him, but that to me can be worked on. And however, I do think in the future he will be the backup. I don't think we have our starting goaltender when we go into the playoffs down the road when we're that good. So that being said, that was what we wanted to look at. Tell me, you leave your comments. What do you think? Do you think they should these rumors of Devin Levi from the Sabres or Dustin Wolf from the Calgary Flames? Do you think they should go that route and pay such a high cost to grab one of them? And these guys are both 7-rounders like Caden Primo. For me, doesn't work. They're just too deep. They were too far down in the draft. And yes, Levi seems to have a little better look, but there's no guarantees with 7-rounders. And to me, he'll be better than Primo, I think. However, I don't think he's the answer as your starter. If you're looking to try to get a Carey Price, Patrick Waugh, Ken Dryden, I don't think that's the way you got to look. I think, and I think we actually have to look to the draft and make sure we have one of the top goaltenders for the future. Absolutely commit to that. So, in that, do you think? Leave your comments. Let me know. Do you go that way with the trade for one of those two, or do you go into the draft and make a splash and get a high draft so that you can make sure that you obtain one of those two top goaltenders? So that being said, that's just where things are standing. We know there's lots of rumor. The rumor is leaning towards Devin Levi, but once again, I say these are reporters. Until I hear it out of the horse's mouth, I'm not there. I don't tend to buy. There's always reporters that want to make some noise. So thank you for watching this episode. We're going to try to do a few more of them here and there as the off seasons here and as we're leading up to the draft. So thank you for watching, and hope to tell your friends to hit the subscribe, hit the likes, and it would be great. Spread it around. We're trying to build this thing up, and we've invested into our equipment so that we don't run into what we had in the past. But once again, thank you for watching, and stay with us. And we're also debating to go live around the draft time. So we might be doing an episode or two live. We're going to maybe test the waters. And again, I do thank Junkie for my other piece of equipment I have to adjust to when I get to that. And learning the new software, I will be using that instead of this. But I got to thank him a lot. He's always been helpful, and I'm proud of him for reaching his plateau yesterday. It was good to see. He deserves it. I've been with him right from the start. First fan of his, and I'll stick with Junkie all the way. He's got good material out there, and when I support someone, you better be ahead of the game because I just don't support every channel there are a few good ones though too. I find Hockey Digest to be they got a good system going as well, and of course my favorites, Raw, Knuckles Nyland, I'll always be a favorite, and Tony Marinero. Those will always be favorites as well. And so, with that being said, thank you for joining us. Hit the likes and subscribes. And until the next episode, this was the episode on your goaltending situation. What's going to be the answer for what's in the cage? What do we go forward with? You leave your comments. I'd be interested to hear them. And remember, a comment is a comment. None of us are rocket scientists to can read, or somebody who can read the future. Prophets, if you want to go that far. But thank you again. And so we will see you. We'll try to. The next episode where I'm thinking of doing is the pleasant surprises of our 2022-23 season. That's so that'll lean away from the goaltenders. I wanted to hit the goaltenders because I was very proud of Sam Mondebeau and what he did, and also because it definitely is clear there's a changing of the guard here. He's now becoming the lead man, and Allen should be the backup. His body is really saying it. And I think you got the right mentality with Allen there. So thank you. Take care. We will see you in the next episode. And where does the puck drop first? Center ice. Take care.